Hello, Kyle Ferroli here, and I'd like to share with you a little bit about the options you have in the world for working with mind and brain related concerns. Obviously, the most important is to get to the root of the problem that you have. And unfortunately, a lot of the mainstream methods do not do that. So we're going to talk about a few of the mainstream ones and one that you really need to know about. First of all, traditional medicine is an excellent thing if you're struggling with something that is acute. You cut your foot off, you cut your arm open, you're having a heart attack, you break a bone. These are very serious things that need immediate acute care. And I believe 100% that we need to be going to traditional medicine for those things. But when it comes to anything mind or brain related, medical doctors will do an EEG only if they're questioning seizures, not if it's a concussion or a brain injury. So they're not looking at the organ that they treat in traditional medicine. But yet eye doctors look at the eyes, heart doctors look at the heart, and even if you go into the ER, they'll take an x-ray. They're all doing objective tests. So there's a blind spot here, and that traditional medicine is not looking at the organ. Now thankfully, Daniel Amen is one who's paved the way with this, and I don't have to be the one catching all the flack here. He's a medical doctor in California who's done over 80 or 90,000 scans of brain images of people's heads. And he's found 7 different patterns of ADD and 7 different patterns of anxiety and depression. Now, do you want to be guessing with which one you have and which med may work for which one? Because I know for a fact that they don't all work and that there are side effects. And some of them just don't work based on what frequencies the brainwave are. So if you have certain categories of bandwidths of brainwave activity, some meds work better or worse for them. So traditional medicine is one route that you can go. Sometimes you get a slam dunk, and a stimulant med works really well for ADD. But what happens if you're like a lot of people that come in my office, and you may think you have ADD, but actually you have anxiety? And that is that if your brain isn't running fast enough, or your brain is just racing through, in both cases you're not going to be able to focus. You're going to be a little impulsive or irritable. You may have trouble sleeping. Similar symptoms. How do you know if you don't look? Again, the brain is the only organ that we don't treat. That's a quote by Daniel Amen. Think about that one. Now, the next thing is you may see a psychologist or a therapist or something like that. Excellent. But guess what? When you're in panic or fight or flight mode, the front of your brain's not working. And guess what? You don't need it when you're being chased by a bear or you have a gun to your head. You need it to survive. But when you go into, quote, survival mode in your therapist's office, you could spend years going over the same problem over and over and over, and you're never going to hear what they say. You might have your listening skills on as a sense, right? But you're not hearing the words. You're not hearing the logic. You're not hearing the empowerment and the compassion, hopefully, that they have for you. So there's a blind spot there. Next, self-help. I've been a self-help junkie for over 20 years. I read and buy and listen and everything I can get my hands on. But you get to a point where you don't even know if you're ready for it yet. Case in point, I was a broke as a joke college student, drove my car to this big arena in my fancy suit and shined up shoes, didn't know if I could afford gas or lunch, but I knew I couldn't afford both. But I looked like $1 million that day, just like everybody else faking it out there in the world, right? We all put on our best face, but how are we really inside? Well, the proof is in the pudding here. I took notes. I don't remember what I took. I don't remember what I said, what I wrote. I don't remember who I really ran into because I was in survival mode. Again, chased by a bear. Are you going to be listening to a podcast? No. Chased by a bear. Are you going to be making good decisions and being conscious of your logic and reasoning? No. You're going to be surviving. You're going to be probably running. So we're all inside running and climbing the wall, so to speak. But yet on the outside, we're acting like everything's great. But that's just my soapbox. I got to get off that, as everybody knows. I'm Kyle Ferroli. I hope this video has been mostly beneficial, other than my rants and raves at the end here. And just have you see that my passion really is getting to the honest truth of where we are so we can make our life happier, healthier, and more productive. I look forward to seeing you at one of my talks, in the books and the videos that are coming out, as well as at our center in the Midwest. Thanks.